Danny Flexent here for Seconds Out with Karriss Artingstall, a GB rep, of course, and about to go to the World Championships. Before we talk about that, just take us through your journey at the Europeans, which concluded recently, and saw you win a medal, of course.
Yeah, so I've just come back from the Europeans in Madrid. I went over there, I was confident, and I come away with a silver. Obviously, I'm not satisfied with that, but it's better than what I did last year, so it's progression.
Was last year's one, obviously you went out in the prelims, albeit to a very good opponent, but was that your first major for GB?
Yeah, it was my first major. I wasn't even on the team officially, I just got invited up. They needed a 57, so I went over. I felt confident going over. I got in there, I drew against a good girl, and I just froze. I don't know what happened to me. Everything just went out the window. So I got beat in the prelims, so I sat back and I just watched all the opponents at my weight, and then obviously I learnt a few things.
And you've come back, won your silver this year. How did you get on in the final? What did you make of that? Where can you improve? What were the things you picked out?
So in the finals, I come across a tester, I think her name is, from Italy. Before I got in, I thought she was going to be proper tall, lanky, which she wasn't. She was similar height to me, but her limbs were ridiculously long. Like her arms were something else. The first round, I thought I started off relatively well. Like I got on my jab straight away. The second round, I threw my backhand, and it just didn't feel right. I jarred my elbow. I'm not using this as an excuse. She was the better boxer on the day. She was. And just as the fight went on, I couldn't let my shots go as much as I wanted to. But what she did worked exactly, obviously, how she wanted it to. I was cutting the range down. But when I was in there, I was just holding my feet, letting her get her shots off, and then she'd move off, and it was just a vicious circle doing the same thing.
Now, I've seen on your kind of bio and stuff, you're from Macclesfield, but your accent sounds a bit like it owes things to different places. Just tell us a bit about that.
So I am from Macclesfield, but I think a big part of this plays in, because I'm in the army and I was based down south, I think I've picked up a few things from them, but I had a house in Scotland, so I lived up there for 3 years, so our twang comes from there as well. So yeah, it's a bit of a cocktail accent.
And tell us about your time in the army. You're an army gunner, I believe. Just tell us how you got into that, and did boxing play a part in why you joined the army initially?
So I started boxing when I was 16 competitively, and then I joined the army, so I took 2 years out of it. I joined the army when I was 18, did my trade and training, got into regiment, and then I got back into boxing. I didn't solely join the army to get into boxing. I knew it was doable, that you could take part in sports. I didn't think I'd then progress on to now being on GB through the army. Do
you go back much now?
At the minute, no, because I've got a few issues going on at home, but other than that, I will be going back once my house is sorted.
What do you actually do in the army? Obviously, army gunner seems pretty self-explanatory, but just give us an idea of what you do day to day.
So at the minute, I do nothing because I'm full-time boxing, so I'm literally just up here full-time, and the army support me with that 100%, which is obviously incredible. I couldn't ask for any more from them. I don't want to embarrass myself and say what I'm supposed to do in work because I've completely forgot about it.
Well, you can't even remember what your daily duties are anymore. No, definitely not. It makes you seem more human. But no, so army gunner, we assume you shoot things.
No, so what I'm supposed to do is work on an AS-90, which looks like a tank sort of thing. Obviously, with me being a gunner, there's not much I do apart from load the gun with shells and whatever. Yeah.
You've taken all the excitement out of it there, but it's fine. There's plenty of excitement in boxing anyway. Have you got kind of individual targets for the Worlds? Is there a certain medal you want to achieve or a certain round you want to get to, or does it all just depend on the draw?
Oh, of course there's a certain medal I want to achieve. I want to get gold, but you've just got to take every fight as it comes, aren't you? You don't know who you're going to draw, who you're going to come across, so every fight, just take every fight as it comes. I'm going to treat every fight as if it's the final. Give it all 100%, so that when I do get out, I can't be like, oh, I wish I'd done this, I wish I'd done that. So every fight's just like the finals.
And does it not being a qualifier for the Olympics, does that take anything away from it?
To me, no. Regardless what tournament I go to, it could just be a little tournament down the road in some civilian club. I'd still give it 110% as if it was the World Championships or something like that. Winning means everything to me. I don't like losing.
Who are your kind of inspirations? Who do you watch on tape or whatever to get kind of ideas from, that kind of thing?
I wouldn't really say I've got any inspiration and people that I look up to. There's boxers that I like and the styles that I like. Linares, I love his style. But yeah, there's no one that I really religiously watch and pick things up off, because everyone's their own boxer, everyone's got their own style. So.
Are your family really into your boxing?
I've only got a small family. My mum supports me massively. My stepdad, he was my number one fan, but unfortunately he's no longer with us. But other than that, my brothers, they ask me how I get on and stuff like that, but they don't really get it. So I'd probably say my mum's my number one fan though.
Sorry to hear about your stepdad, of course. Did you want to tell us maybe a little bit about how he supported you?
So I'd go away. He knew where I was going before I was even going, so I'd be like, I've been selected to box here. I'd tell him the country, and then he knew what tournament it was before I even jetted off. And then as I was getting back, or even if I was over there and if it was a tournament and I just boxed in like the quarterfinals, before I messaged my mum to let him know how I got on, he knew the answer already. So I don't know how he was doing it, but he was finding streams to all the tournaments basically and knew everything before I even got back to had the chance to tell him.
So it'd make him very proud, you would think, if you were to medal at the Worlds or even going forward get to the Olympics.
Oh, 100%. Like, he was proud every tournament I went to, regardless of the outcome. He was always proud. Like.
Brilliant. Well, just before we let you go, there'll be people that watch this and want to know a bit more about you. How can they find you on social media?
So on social media, I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and it's Karriss Artingstall _Artingstall.
Brilliant. All right. Well, we wish you the very best in Russia and going forward.